Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, we're going to do a really simple fermented recipe. We're going to be making some fermented honey garlic. And I already have a batch that I made probably about, I think it was 5 months ago. I looked at the date and it was just past 5 months ago that I actually made that batch of it. So we have some that we can actually taste test today. And then I'm going to show you what I did to make it, or mostly what I did to make it. Some of the things that I kind of figured out would make it go a little better and a little bit smoother. You can use like real fresh cloves of garlic and peel them and do all that kind of stuff if you wish. I don't wish to. So I bought this, and I have a couple of different garlic recipes that I have coming up. This is kind of a continuation of a series that I'm doing on different things that you can do to improve our immune system and different ways that you can stay healthy. And most of the ones that I've done in the past have been things that I do regularly. This is one that I'm hoping to make a part of my regular routine because of all the amazing health benefits and things that are associated with both the honey and the garlic and the infusion of both of them. And what I really like about the garlic and the honey mostly is the antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, just kind of antimicrobial in general. And the garlic is especially strong with it, and the honey is also, and it has so many other different health benefits. Like it has cardiovascular benefits. It's even reported to have like anti-cancer type benefits and things like that. And basically the way that it works is that it inhibits the growth of any kind of bacteria or any kind of viruses, cancer cells, anything like that. It inhibits the growth of it, and then it can also go after it, and it can attack it, and it can actually kill those cells. So super amazing thing to add to your regular part of your diet. And you can use it like the way that I use liposomal vitamin C. You can use it kind of as maintenance, like once a day or something like that, or even just whenever you feel like it. And then when you're getting sick, you just amp up the amount that you actually use of it, and it'll start to go to work on getting rid of all those nasties that are within your body and help give your body what it needs to actually fight back. So last time that I made this, I went ahead and dumped all the garlic in here, and then I just poured the honey on top, and it took forever. So one of the things that I'm gonna try and do this time is to actually kind of layer it in there, hoping to make it go quicker, because it just takes so long for this raw honey to seep in through the garlic. So I'm just gonna try and do it this way, and we'll see kind of what happens with it. It's gonna take forever because it's already solidified. So we have 2 different bottles of this stuff, and so we're just gonna try and get all this stuff to come out. It might take a little while. And I know I can heat it up, but I want to have it as raw as possible. And it feels like it's pretty thick in here. It's pretty hard in here. So I might actually do that. But let's see what we can do in the meantime. Let's see how much we can actually get out of here. Okay, so this one, ooh, makes funny noises. That's what it does. This one has like, it's like a hard chunk inside of here. So I think I might just try and warm this up and just maybe run it under some warm water. Not getting it too hot because I don't want to ruin the good properties of actually being raw, because you can ruin a lot of the benefits, a lot of the enzymes, and a lot of the bacteria and things that are in raw honey. You can ruin it if you heat it up too much. So I think I'm just going to try and kind of just barely warm it up in some warm water, see if I can get it to liquefy just a little bit, nothing crazy. And also because it's in plastic, so I don't want to heat it up so much that it'll just start to leach the stuff out of it. So the warm water is helping a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and see how much I can actually get out of this. And another thing I wasn't even thinking about is if you're soaking it in water, you wanna make sure that you're drying off the outside of your container, because you don't want the water to drip inside of here. Basically just kind of, you know, just keeping it clear of any kind of outside bacteria as much as possible. We got some of it out of there. And now I'm just gonna take basically the main component in garlic that makes it so healthy and so good for you and so just fighting of the bad stuff is Alice. I think it's called allicin. I think that's how you pronounce it. And basically what that is done by an enzymatic process when the garlic itself is damaged in any way, damaged or bruised or anything like that. And so that's why a lot of times you want to prep your garlic ahead of time, and you want to kind of cut it up, or you smash it with your chef's knife or something like that, just to kind of break it up, to bruise it in some way to begin that enzymatic process of turning, I think it's alliin into allicin. I could be wrong on the pronunciations of those. In fact, I'm sure I'm quite wrong. But it's basically just, that's the chemical compound that's in the garlic that makes it so great. And you want to damage it in some way to make it actually work, if that makes any sense. So anyways, I'm just going to continue to kind of layer these on top of here and until I'm done. And we're going to do both of them. And you can use this, you can use both the honey and the garlic in whatever you want to use it in. The honey is a little bit more difficult for me to find purposes for it because I don't typically consume a lot of sugars or honeys or things like that. Ooh, there it goes. That was the big piece that was in there. Okay. But anyways, you can use it you can add it to like teas and things like that. You probably don't want to add it to things that are too hot. And I don't really know how it tastes, so we're going to find out how it tastes after this. My layering process didn't work out so great, but it was a valiant effort, huh? Okay, I'm going to let this melt a little bit more. And a few things that I kind of learned when I was making the first batch of the honey garlic is that it likes to float a lot. And so you have to it's going to float above the honey no matter what you do with it. If you fill it up too full, then it's going to explode, not explode, but it's going to seep out of the seal. And so you don't want to fill it up too much. And so inevitably the garlic is just going to float, at least for a time. After a while, it starts to sink to the bottom. You don't have to worry about it. But in the beginning, you definitely need to be cautious of it. And so I just would come along, as with all the recommendations of, all the other recipes and things that you'll find. And I would just come along and I would keep it like this, and I would keep the jar tight-ish, the lid on there pretty tight. And then I would just come along and I would turn it upside down and kind of let the honey and everything kind of ooze through the jar. And then after a little while, half hour, however long, just making sure everything gets coated, turn it back upside down, let it settle for a second so all the honey will get off of the lid. And then I kind of just burp the lid a little bit, and you just come along and you just kind of let it pop and then close it back. And I didn't keep it super duper tight, but anytime I turned it upside down, make sure that you tighten it on there really well, because I didn't do that a couple times and it made a pretty big mess. So just, some things to keep in mind. And it'll also start to kind of foam and just all the usual kind of fermentation type stuff. There was one article that I was reading that I found really interesting, and that is that the honey itself is 18% moisture and 82% carbohydrate. And in order for the actual honey to ferment, it has to have a 19% moisture content. So when you add the honey to the garlic, it'll pull the moisture out of the garlic to make it so that it can actually begin the fermentation process. Because I'm sure that most people have heard that the honey will pretty much last indefinitely, but that's not the case if you add more liquid to it. Like if you add water to it or something like that, it's not going to last forever. But if you leave it in its pure state, then it kind of will. Okay, So it's not going to take away all of the amount of time that it takes to actually let this stuff seep and ooze through, but it's certainly going much faster than it did last time. Last time it took a couple of hours to get the honey to actually seep down through all of the cloves of garlic. So this way, it's not perfect, but it's certainly better than it was, or it would be if you just put all the honey in there and then poured, or put all the garlic in there and then poured the honey on top. Just kind of alternating it definitely is cutting down at least some on the amount of time that it takes to do this. So let's get it melted a little more. Okay, so I think I've got just about all the honey that I'm going to be able to fit, or all the garlic that I'm going to be able to fit in here, at least for now. So I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull out that other garlic, and we're going to give that a taste test, which I have not tasted at all. I have not even really done anything with this honey garlic whatsoever since like the first couple weeks where I was kind of turning it upside down and burping it and things like that. And it's just literally been sitting over there in my fermentation corner for 5 months, and I've done nothing with it. So you can kind of see in here, you can see where it kind of oozed off the side of the, you can't see that, but it definitely oozed off to the corner there. And you can see it's got kind of this liquid line here, and it's very, very liquidy. It's not like your typical, it's not thick like honey at all. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give this a taste test. I'm kind of a little bit nervous about it. It's been there for so long. And this is the same garlic that I used. I went and bought it. And so you can see it's definitely darker, darker in color. Smells like garlic. I'm gonna get a small one. I'm really nervous about this. Okay. All right. It has pretty much almost no bite to it at all. Like, it's not harsh in any way whatsoever. I can kind of, like, there's a bit of like the sulfury kind of garlic Allison type, very mild taste to it, but it's super mild, and it still tastes a little bit like honey, but it's very muted of all the flavors. It's good. It's definitely not something that I would mind taking daily, really. I mean, you just dip into the jar and take it. You can keep it in the fridge if you want to, I think. But like I said, I've had it out. You can see, I mean, there's nothing on the jar. There never has been. And there's nothing on the lid here. I just don't want it to fall out. There's nothing growing. There's nothing funky. And it has been sitting there for over 5 months and untouched. I didn't even have the lid cranked down on it. It's been able to breathe. I mean, it's honey and it's garlic. They're antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, everything bad pretty much is here and ready for you to consume to help you to feel better, basically. So I definitely would recommend this, especially given all of the health benefits that are to it. It's not anything overpowering. It's not anything that's harsh. It's not anything that really anybody probably would mind taking to improve their health, whether it's maintenance or to use the benefits of the garlic and the honey to kind of help mute any symptoms you might have, or just to kind of help strengthen your immune system. It can help with your cardiovascular health. It can help with just all kinds of the things that I listed off earlier are in this jar, and definitely something that is totally worth the time that it takes to actually make it. And right now is the perfect time to make it, because if you like to have things long fermented like I do, then by the time that you're actually needing it for cold and flu season, it'll be ready for you. So that's why I'm making 2 more jars so that I can have a whole bunch on reserve when the cold and flu season starts. And then I have this one to use right now with all the craziness that's going on in the world currently, to make sure that my immune system is in top-notch shape. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and be sure to list down below the things that you like to use your honey garlic for, or any ideas that you might have for it that don't involve cooking, because we don't want to cook it. But any ideas that you have, or any ways that you like to incorporate it into your life beyond just taking in a spoonful of honey garlic. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.